Hi, everyone. You're all very welcome to Underground Cinema. So we're in the thick of the interviews now at the moment with a lot of the nominees that have been nominated for an award at this year's Underground Cinema Film Awards, which take place in just under 3 weeks' time. Um, I'm delighted to say this morning I've got with me Harvey Harrison Doyle. Harvey directed a brilliant, really great short film called Nepenthe, and it's been nominated for Best Horror Film. It's also a student film as well. Hi, Harvey, how are you?
Hiya, Dave. Thanks for having me on. I'm really good. Thank you. Thank you so much for the
Yeah,
nomination as well.
not at all. It's a super piece of filmmaking, really well done, and also it's a student film as well. I think you did. I think you and your team, your cast, did a really great job on this short film. Can you tell everybody what the film is all about?
Yeah, of course. So, Nepenthe is a short horror. It's about 30 minutes long. It's a story following a young woman who's dealing with a lot of grief in her life, and she moves to her grandparents' house in the countryside. And some spooky, supernaturally kind of feeling things start to happen as she's back and forth between her grandparents' home and a support group where she's trying to get through what's happened to her.
Yeah, I looked up. I looked up. I was trying to work out the meaning of the name, so obviously I googled it just to see what it was about. And I have it here in front of me. A drug described in Homer's Odyssey as banishing grief or trouble from a person's mind.
Hmm.
Can you tell us where
Yeah,
you
so
know?
the
Yeah, go on.
No, yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, the name it took me a while to get to it, but like you've just said, it's sort of an ancient myth of this potion that forcefully removes grief from your body, and that came across as quite a good synonym for me for the idea of group support and therapy, and how the lead character Enid is treating therapy. She's trying to kind of forcefully remove her traumas from herself, but in the end, like the potion, that's kind of a myth, and that you can't really do that.
Yeah, your locations are great in this film. This is shot in East Essex. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah. Half of it was East Sussex, half of it was West Sussex. So everything in the group therapy scenes was shot down in Bognor Regis, sort of Chichester way, and then all of the house locations were shot in Hastings.
Yeah, the house is super. It's almost a character in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The group, you've got quite a really good, strong cast in this. I thought everybody in the group therapy session was really good. When you do a film with a group therapy session, there can be a tendency to overplay it, but I think everybody played their roles really, really well. Can you tell me how did about the casting process? Did you know these actors before, or were they self tapes, or did you have open auditions? How did it work?
Yeah, so our lead actress, Catherine Cockram, she was in my class. So this was started as a third year dissertation project for our university. Um and has grown a little bit since then. But yeah, I asked her because I'd worked on a different film with her as an actor, and I thought she was brilliant. And I didn't actually do any self tapes or any casting auditions for this film. Most of it was just sort of handpicked by me. Um, and our other lead, who played Jacob Martin, he's actually one of our acting lecturers, so it was quite nerve wracking having him directing him when he's a teacher of mine.
Yeah, he's really good. He does a great job in
Yeah.
it.
Mm.
He really suits the role. Yeah. The the production values are very, very good in this. I thought the cinematography was superb, and it captured the group therapy sessions really well. I thought the scenes in the house are very well lit. I think the sound design in particular is superb in this, and I love the ticking clock that runs all the way through at various different paces, so it gets faster as the film progresses. Can you tell me a little bit about? Obviously, the sound design was very important to you. Can you just maybe explain it to people that haven't seen it? The use of the ticking clock right through it. It's not just the clock; it's also the indicator of the car near the end as well. which is really clever, I thought. Can you just explain the thought process behind that?
Well, so I wrote the film as well. So in the script, there was always this idea of the ongoing ticking, and there was a worry before I ended up putting it in that I was worried it would become too gimmicky or too irritating as a viewer. You're sat there for 30 minutes and the clock changes which clock you're hearing, but it is this constant ticking. But I don't know. I see Enid, who we follow. She's she's a volcano of a character. You're kind of always waiting for her to erupt, and I think the ticking of the clock really helps fuel that feeling. And then obviously, like you say, at the end, it shows that this ticking that she's always hearing is something that she's related to her trauma. It's kind of that constant thing in the back of her head.
Yeah, there's something Edgar Allan Poe-ish about it as well. I thought it was just a really good touch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very heart in the floorboards.
Yeah, exactly. And funny, when I was watching the film at the start, you don't really notice it that much at the start. It's very subtle, and then just as the film progresses, you begin to take note of it. Certainly during the group therapy session, then it becomes very noticeable, and then by the end of the film, it's extremely noticeable. So no, it's great. As I said, the production values of this film are super. What were your biggest challenges, especially with a student film, on the shoot?
Well, the biggest challenge is it's hard to work on such a small budget. Luckily, we had a phenomenal producer, Rihanna Turner. Her and I worked like that for the whole course of this film, and she was always finding ways to make sure we got something for the best value. A lot of the things like the house, the two cars that we feature in the film, they all had to be period appropriate because it is, although it's not explicitly stated, it was designed to be set in the 80s. So we had to get those things for free a lot of the time because we wouldn't have had the budget for them otherwise. So it was a lot of asking, which is always difficult as a filmmaker because you do rely on handouts a lot of the time. But we got very lucky and we met a lot of lovely people who wanted to help.
Yeah, you get it. Like the car is cool at the start. The Triumph looks great. As I said earlier on, one of the big stars of this film is actually the house itself. It's very difficult to get a house like that to do a shoot like that. Your producer Rihanna really pulled it off for you there.
Yeah, well, the house was me actually, but she always pulled it off. But I'm actually sat in the house right now that we're recording. It's actually my parents' house that we used for the shooting. We just got very, very lucky. We tried a bunch of different ideas. This was kind of a last resort in a lot of ways. But by the end, it was perfect because Kieran Howes, our director of photography, I sent him pictures of it, and he had a million ideas of how to make it look as spooky as he did.
Cool, and that includes so you've got the exteriors and the interiors. I'm presuming that's your parents' house for the interiors as well.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm not sure what exteriors of the house made it in the film. There very well may be some, but we did have as well. There was an Airbnb down the road from the house where we'd put up the cast and crew. Had a fantastic vibe to it. It's very similar to this house. So we actually shot some of the opening, where you have the opening credits, some of those stills in there. That's a different house. But apart from that, all of it was this house, yeah.
That takes some of the pressure off, because I know it's like myself shooting a film. When you get somebody's house to shoot a film, you're extremely conscious about the time that you're taking to shoot the film in the house. You're very careful about not damaging anything in the house, and I suppose you're doing the same as well as your parents' house. You don't want to damage anything at all while you're there, but it's a little bit more relaxed, I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of me running around, making sure C-stands weren't scraping paint off walls. But yeah, no, we were very time conscious about filming here. It was done in 4 days, everything in the house. And we had the whole. It was so much fun because we had the whole cast and crew staying either in the house or in the Airbnb down the road. And it was so, because it was 12-hour days every day pretty much. But it was fantastic. We had so much fun with it.
Yeah, long days, 12 hours.
Yeah.
That's pretty hectic. Was it a fairly straightforward shoot, or were there any difficulties throughout the shoot?
I'd say the biggest difficulty was a lot of what we filmed at the house was meant to be at nighttime. And obviously when you've got 4 days, you only have so much nighttime, you've got a lot of daytime. So we did, I think it was only one scene in the end that was day for night. Luckily it's all interior, so it was only a little bit in the color grade that needed to make that happen, but we were just covering windows mostly. But I think it's the part where she smashes the clock maybe was actually daytime. But yeah, I'd say that was probably our biggest challenge, was just fitting everything in to those 4 days.
You're you go into post production then, so you're involved in the edit, and it's a nice edit as well. The running time of this film is 30 minutes, which for a short film is a little on the long side. Now, when I was watching a film, a good short film, if regardless of the time, if you don't notice time, then it's a really good film, and that's the way I felt when I watched it. I wasn't even looking at
Thank
the
you.
clock. Yeah, I wasn't even looking at the clock. I was enjoying the storyline, and I was engaged in the script and the dialogue, the acting. So it didn't feel like 30 minutes to me. But there's always a concern about 30 minutes when you're going onto the festival circuit. So for
Yeah.
ourselves, for example, we run two events, an online event. So we're not really, time isn't a problem for us. But our live event, time is, and it can be an issue as well. So we're looking to program, get the best content that we can to put together a really good program for our audience. And that's always on our mind. But if we see something really good like your film that's 30 minutes long, we'll do the very best we can to try and get it into the festival. We'll find some way to get it in. But some of the bigger festivals, the huge, very big international film festivals, they can't do that. They're very concerned about time, and in some cases, not all festivals, they would sort of say, "Oh, I could get two shorts in there for the price of one short." Was You know what I mean? Was that a bit of a concern for you when you were in the edit, and when you ended up with 30 minutes?
Yeah, it was a massive concern. So I edited the film. It was my first time ever editing. And the script is 17 pages long. So typically you expect it to be a page a minute, but obviously our film had the difficulty of there's an 8-minute monologue in there, which is one shot. So that really threw off the time. It ended up at 30. There was stuff cut from the film by the end, but yeah, it was definitely a concern. I don't think any of us were. We just really wanted to make the film we wanted to make, I guess. But we've been so happy by the response. We're so grateful for the Underground Film Awards for hosting us and nominating us. Is incredible. And we've gotten quite a few across the board now. We're just so kind of shocked, but also very happy about it.
Yeah, cool. Listen, and I like that attitude, where you guys just wanted to make the film. At the end of the day, you had a story to tell. You wanted the challenge of making the film. I suppose, like, festivals, they're important as well. But really, it sounds like to me, you guys just wanted to get this film made, and festivals are secondary, which I take my hat off to you, because sometimes it can be the other way around, making a film for the film festival. It really should be about you and what you want. So it's difficult as well when you're the writer and the director. And did you spend much time, or were you there for the whole edit?
I was the only editor for the film. I was the editor.
As well. Yeah.
Yeah, the only part of the post-production I wasn't doing was the color grade, which our director of photography did, and then Yun Lee did our sound edit for the film, but the visual edit was all me.
That must be really hard, because you're so close to it. You're writing, you're directing, and you're also in the edit. To make final calls. Did you have anybody in the suite with you, or just were you on your own, like, to be through it?
Yeah, well, for the creative side of it, Kieran, our DOP, he was with me for a lot of it, because I always wanted his input into that sort of stuff. But also, it was really important for me to have Rihanna, my producer, there for a lot of it, because she was so tied to the film, of course, as a producer is, and she's got fantastic ideas creatively as well. But in terms of who was allowed to see the film while it was being edited, it was my producer, my DOP, and my first AD was in there a few times. And then I had a lot of advice because I was editing it at university. I got to use their suites, did it on DaVinci Resolve. So I got a lot of advice from lecturers and stuff, which was very, very helpful. I was kind of in the best position to be learning how to edit, because I'd never even picked up a DaVinci before this. So it was a lot of learning in the moment.
Wow, that sounds like a real learning curve, to be honest with you, and quite a positive one. To have the staff in university, to help or to assist, even to have the facilities, is fantastic. Can you tell me just a little about the college that you're in, or university, sorry, that you're in?
Yeah, so I've graduated now, but I was at the University of Chichester, and it's fantastic. I was on the screen acting and film production course, and I had so much access to everything we really needed to get a film off its feet without having a massive budget to start with. And especially all the lecturers like Martin, who was one of our leads, and Steve, Steve Couch is a editing lecturer, but he did the voice of the grandfather in the beginning of the film, so we got him to do a bit of the cameo as well.
Listen, it's great that the lecturers and teachers get involved in this as well. To give up their time to help. I think that's fantastic. I suppose in Ireland the scene is very, very similar as well. I come from Dunleary, whereas the National Film School is in my hometown, in Dunleary. It's just a super school, to be honest with you. The facilities there are brilliant. And actually most of the films that come through to us, I know before even watching the first frame, I know the film is going to be good, because the standard is very, very high. And the indie scene in Ireland at the moment is booming. At the moment, the amount of films that have been submitted to us at the moment is unbelievable, and we've become great friends with filmmakers in the UK as well over the past couple of years. What's it like as an indie filmmaker in the UK at the moment?
I mean, this is my first time on the circuit, so this is my first film, and the UK has been a lot quieter. Like all our notoriety thus far has been international. We've obviously, with you guys in Ireland, and then a Scottish Film Festival we've been in as well, and Rihanna just won Best Producer over in Sweden, which was fantastic. But I think it's still pretty booming in the UK. We're off to Aesthetica in a few weeks, and that's one of the biggest film festivals we've got. And I went there last year as well. It was fantastic there. So I think the industry it's definitely still there. It's just it can be quite a push to get in, I think.
Yeah. Well, look, I think this film will, it's got plenty of legs on it. It's got a couple of years to go on the film festival circuit. I was just, when I was watching it, I watched it again last night. I was just wondering, who are you influenced by? Is it just horror film you like, or do you like all genres?
Yeah, I love horror. And it was very tempting to make a slasher to begin when I decided to do a horror. But influence-wise for this film, because this film is very much a horror through dialogue. And Jordan Peele is a huge inspiration for me. His films, especially Nope, that sort of slow burn but dialogue heavy. Hereditary was a massive inspiration for this film as well, just for the aesthetic of it. And then some TV shows as well. The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix. I watched that a few years ago, and I love the aesthetic of that and the stillness of the cameras and the long takes. And I really wanted to bring that into our style, I guess.
Excellent. So what's your plan next, Harvey? Have you got something else in the pipeline?
Yeah, so the production company that I'm with, that we made this with, Fire Hills Productions, we are working on, because we're all kind of script writers in here. I think we've got a couple in the works. My next one is going to be a British Western, which I'm really excited about. It's a complete switch up of genres. I'm very excited to do that. And yeah, I think we're all just really excited to make another film. I think you get that though as a filmmaker. It's always really exciting to get onto the notoriety part after the film is made, but also the second it's over and the second that burnout's worn off, you want to get straight back into it.
Yeah. Would you believe it? I interviewed a guy there a couple of days ago. He's Irish. Dean Byrne is his name, and he did a fantastic short film. And it's almost like a psychological horror western.
No,
And
fantastic.
yeah, and he shot it in Ireland, and he shot it in a place called County Meath, which is not that far away from Dublin. It's about 35, 40 minutes in the car, but he has this beautiful opening shot. It's a prairie, and I swear it looks like Kansas. He built this fantastic wooden cabin, this set, and the grade in it is superb. And his friend happened to have a horse that lived nearby, so they managed to get a horse for this beautiful opening shot. It's all about prairie madness. I never even heard of prairie madness, but it was a big thing in America, about isolation. People living on huge, big tracts of land, hundreds of acres, and living on their own. There's touches of, I mentioned it to them, like there's touches of the Shining to it, where Jack goes a little bit off the walls because of the isolation, because of it's quite extreme. So no, this was great. So yeah, look forward to seeing
Yeah.
a western's a big change from the horror
It's such
genre.
a big change. And I think, like you were saying, like with the beauty of Ireland, like we have so much beauty on our isles, and kind of shooting a western. So ours is going to be a British one, so it's going to be about the drovers back in the 1800s. But it's it's fantastic. And I want to change up a genre, but I want to stick with that sort of style of heavy dialogue, because I think with Nepenthe, the big moment in it is the monologue, which is all one take. That was our first take as well that we used. And
Wow.
Catherine knocks out the park with it. And I kind of want to stick with that sort of style of heavy dialogue, I think.
Yeah, she did a great job. Like an 8-minute monologue, it's not an easy thing to do. Is she a theatre actress, by the way, or?
No, she's not. She's been mostly a film actress. But
Wow.
That's how I approached her with this, is because she's not adverse to theatre acting at all. But I approached her with it saying, because I act as well myself, and I said, as an actor, I think in film, one of the things that can be difficult is switching it on like immediately, which you can be expected to a lot of the time when it's cutting around a lot. Whereas I said I wanted to do this big monologue, I want to do it all in one take with a very simple push in. I want you to start with your character emotionally closed off, which is what she's been the whole film, and I want it to end with you crying your eyes out and kind of devastated, and I want to give you the time to breathe and do that as an actor. I think it's a really fun thing to be able to do as an actor as well. I know she had a lot of it was a very emotional time, but she did have a lot of fun with it. And I think it works for that.
Yeah, it's very the play I had in mind, it's different, but there's a very big monologue in a play called The Zoo Story by Edward Albee. That's nearly a 20-minute monologue. It's quite long, but the 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 various different emotions the character goes through from the start right way through the finish of the monologue is very similar to your film. She goes through sort of a range of emotions and right the way up to the very end. She should just have you from start to finish. That's what I think I'm trying to say. Those 8 minutes, she has you gripped. I think that's an incredible thing for an actor to be able to do. And you don't see it too often, and it's usually theatre actors are the ones that actually can pull that off because they go so
Yeah,
deep into the character. So please pass on my congratulations to her. She did a super job.
I will. Yeah, it's an incredibly difficult thing to pull off because especially in film acting, because a lot of the time you're not expected to be able to do something like an 8-minute monologue. It's kind of it's a risky thing to put into a film because if we'd
Yeah.
picked the wrong actress, if she hadn't have held your attention for 8 minutes, by the time you get to minute 2, you're like, why am I here? And luckily she does hold the attention because she is brilliant.
Well, she holds the film together with aplomb. I think your supporting cast are super in it as well. It looks great. The production values, as I said, are super. Sound design, I loved. The cinematography was great. It just ticks all the boxes. And on top of that, it's a student film as well, which is incredible. I'm a huge fan of student films. So, listen, well done, Harvey. I thought it was great. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We definitely can't wait to see what you have in store for us next. I'll be keeping an eye out for it, and please do keep in touch with us.
Absolutely. Hopefully we'll do this again next time.
Absolutely. Well, we're looking forward to the awards. We're only around the corner. We know you guys are over in the UK, but listen, we'll keep our fingers crossed for you. And listen, well done again. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been great chatting to you.
Thank you so much, Dave. It's been such an honor to be on. Thank you.
Take care now.
And you.